I told you in your interview before, disciplines, remembering what you want. And every time, especially every day when I wake up right now in the camp, I know why I'm doing this, for who I'm doing this, and I became a more responsible person.
Things are not perfect in my life. Any of my friends that are very successful at anything, whether sports or business, they all have problems. It's not like a champion athlete or a higher level business person. It's not everything is beautiful and perfect. And despite that, you have to overcome those problems. Somebody like Andrei or the other great champions, that's what it's like. It's not beautiful, it's not perfect, it's not everything is easy. And if you're expecting that in your own life, and then that you have those moments where you tell yourself like a poor me story. If I didn't have this or that problem, then I could have those type of results too. Some of those guys that win a championship belt or other people that you look up to around the world, they have more problems than you do, and you solve the problem, you deal with it, and that's what it takes.
If you don't have $1 million yet, you're living a much lesser life than what could be easily available to you with the right guidance. My head coach has freed up a few spots in his calendar to hold one-on-one strategy calls with the highest quality applicants. If you're doing well already and you're looking to accelerate your momentum and do even better, click the link in the description now and apply for your strategy session. More at the end of this video.
So I have this program coming up where some of the UFC fighters, some other people, we're gonna do 6 training sessions with lifting weights, MMA. And I asked the group last night, I said, who's somebody that you'd like to do that with in the future? That this first one is full, then in November, maybe you'll do this again. And I said, who would you like to have as a coach, like MMA coach, for the day in the future? And who said? Somebody said Andrei Arlovski.
That's it? Only one?
That's the only person they mentioned.
Okay, thank you.
So one of Hoyce is going to do one. I don't say anybody's name ahead of time, but I wanted to make sure. And I asked at New Year's when I first thought to do an event like that. I said, who are some people you would like to come? And they told me some names, and one of them said, I think, Todd says, how about one of the Gracies? And I said, would Hoyce be okay? Would it be an acceptable Gracie to bring? He's like, yeah, that'd be okay. So I texted Hoyce. He said he's happy to come. So Hoyce is there this time, and 5 other sessions that I'm not going to talk about. But in the future, you're high on the priority list to.
Like Nike, just do it.
All right then. There you go. You heard that, Jason? All right.
Thank you.
But you got to go 3 rounds with him, though. It's okay. Not 5. We got to be reasonable. Jason's not a pro fighter, not world champion.
That's like 2 minutes.
Yes, just 3 5-minute rounds. Just be reasonable. Light gloves, 4 ounces. Who knows Andrei Arlovski? What do you know about him?
Andrei Arlovski is a former UFC champion, 2-time heavyweight champion. I believe 3-time. Okay. 3-time UFC heavyweight champion. You're a Golden Gloves boxing champion as well. And from my understanding, you have, I believe, the most heavyweight wins in the UFC. And you've been there a very long time as well.
You got most wins in the heavyweight division and second most wins in the whole UFC ever from any weight division. And he's still active, got another fight coming up. I don't know if we can talk about it, so I won't say any more. But got another fight coming up soon, and he's a fighter, a couple fights away from having the record for most wins ever in any weight division at UFC, or most fights ever, and most wins? Most fights ever for sure, and most wins at heavyweight for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your first
but
fight?
Thank you that you said we as a team.
I said we?
Yeah.
I said he.
He has. We have fight, no?
Well, I think he said he has. So I don't know if we have. I'm not sure if I have any UFC records. might have a record for the, business guy that trained with the most UFC fighters or something, but I don't know if that's an official. I don't think it's going to get me. I don't think it's getting me in the Hall of Fame, though. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think I am. So, yeah, maybe you share a bit. Well, yeah, this fella's from Belarus, and well,
Okay.
say some Russian shit.
Белорус. Здравствуйте, здравствуйте.
There you go.
Я с города Герой Бобруйска.
There you have it. You guys got that? Make a note. Maybe tell your story a bit, Andrei. What's that like from, you're born in Soviet Union at that time, grow up in modern, was Belarus. You're from Minsk?
No, from Bobruisk. What's your name, sorry? Konstantin. I just told Konstantin about, Bobruisk, it's, first of all, I'm so sorry for my English because it's second language, and plus I'm a little bit nervous. I never spoke in front of like big group of people like you guys, so thank you, Derek, for bringing me, so I apologize in advance, but yes.
No apology.
But anyway, yes, I was born in a military family. I was born in 1979. In 1983, my father went to service five years in Hungary. It's like they have some Russian bloc, Soviet bloc, whatever. It was, I believe, Poland, Hungary, and Bulgaria. And I lived 5 years in Budapest. Debrecen, it's called a small city, like I believe 100 kilometers from Budapest, the capital of the Hungary. And everything went good. We back to USSR in 1988. My father, he was a chief of, chief of military.
He was a military boss.
Pretty much. So he might something on the side to like sell some stuff and we get some money, which is good. And my parents divorced in 1992. My mom decided to start her own business. Of course, she lost all her money, and in 1996, I believe, when I finished the high school, for me it was that time when I lifted weights. I wanted to be Mr. Olympia, make some money, and when you want to take some girls out and have a nice clothes, unfortunately, I was wearing 2 pair of jeans and fucking. Can I use fucking?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wearing 6 years same fucking leather jacket for 6 fucking years. For me, it was. I was depressed, to be honest with you. I mean, like, because you want to take care of it, you want to have a nice clothes. Unfortunately, I didn't have any money. And after I finished high school, I went to police academy. I finished police academy. At that time, I started my sambo and judo sport career. I was world champion in sambo. I finished police academy, and I met some people. They were bringing some boxers from whole Soviet Union to United States, compete in the different states in boxing, kickboxing, make some money. And when I won world sambo championship, government gave me $50. And I remember I paid $3 more, and I bought first pager Motorola. I was so happy. I asked my grandma, I'm gonna be like in 10 minutes some places, please send me some text message on my pager. And I remember I checked my pager, I felt like a big shot. And I met some people that brought me here. I have to choose come here and start pretty much everything from beginning, or be police officer in Belarus. Of course, I choose United States, and the reason I choose United States, I had a hobby. I still sing, but back in 20 years ago, I thought I'm a good singer, and I had a hobby. I wrote down some songs in a big notebook and just like memorized them. And one of the songs, it was at that time it was very popular chansonnier, Kuchin. Some lines from his song, "Have you been in Chicago?" And for some reason, I thought I had a dream I'm going to be in Chicago when I was 12 or 13 years old. And the first city when I came to the United States, of course, it was Chicago. And yeah, since that, times show and times prove that I make a right choice. And now I'm talking with you guys in front of you, which is thank you very much. And thank you, Derek, for bringing me here. And pretty much life is good.
So first you're going to be Mr. Olympia, and then you're going to be a famous singer, and then...
No, not famous singer. It just was a hobby. But why I decided to start my MMA career, because I was hungry for glory, money, and success. So it's pretty much motivated me till today. I have a goals. I do everything possible to reach them, chase them, and at the moment, as of today, I think I'm the oldest active UFC fighter.
Yeah.
So which is I think it's cool too. My beard like gray, but thanks to chemicals, it's still black. So I'm good.
My hair started turning gray a few years ago, and I thought for a minute about dyeing it, and I'm like, it. And I thought that's the value of a man is not his hair color. So I just accept it. But so you came to the United States. I know you lived in Chicago a long time. And
I'm sorry, it was September 29th, 2000.
You had your first professional fight.
First fight.
99.
No, in Russia, yeah, but first UFC fight was November 16th, UFC 28. Today was UFC 283.
28 versus...
Yeah, first Iron
283.
54 seconds, Taj Mahal, Atlantic City.
So to put that in perspective, I think, Chuck Liddell, I think, started around UFC 18, if I'm not mistaken, 17, 18. So you were only, a year later. Chuck's more than 10 years older. So you're starting a decade earlier in age, but
my first fight
about the
was
same time.
on October 9th, 1999, exactly 2 weeks after when I won the World Cup in Sambo. Same city, same arena, and I was supposed to fight some Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert, but somehow he lost in the city, or he didn't get visa. I don't remember the whole story, and they gave me some like redneck from St. Petersburg. He came to me before the fight. Hey, let's play like for audience, for people, like you beat me, I beat you. I said, okay, of course. I promised him to thought to myself, okay, first punch, I knock him out. I choked him, I beat him 3 rounds, and he choked, and he just did step with a jab, and he knocked me out in the 3rd round. But 6 months later, I became a European champion in MMA, same organization, but still. I tried to be sneaky, and I paid for this.
So what is that like when you start UFC? That's a totally different organization than today. Is growing so big, and you've really been there for 90% of the events they did that you've been active on the roster during this time, or involved in the company one way or another. So from the time you started, God, I have so many other little memories, of it, with you and other people of that timeline. You've been there for everything.
I was together with Randy Couture, Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, obviously, Gracie, Machido, Dan Henderson, we fought pretty much a few times on the same cards.
Wow. Wow. What are your thoughts over the years at UFC? You had a tremendous number of victories. You had times years ago where you had a few losses in a row, and you had to rethink of things and come back and rebuild your career.
Yes, I left UFC in 2009. The reason I left UFC, what did McGregor and Mayweather when like a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, boxing match. I supposed to do this shit back in 2009. I left UFC. I signed with Golden Boy promotion with Oscar De La Hoya. The idea was I used to train with Freddie Roach in LA, and idea was to build my boxing record, and obviously fought one of the brothers Klitschko for the big money. And I signed. I got at that time it was, I believe, 50,000 signing bonus back in 2009. It was huge money for me, and I thought, okay, I'm big shot right now, and I signed with at that time Elite XC and Affliction promotion. So I was busy, so super busy. Like I had like every 3-4 months I had like at least like one fight. So financially I was good, and I was sick at that time. Shit happens, and I lost 4 fights. Oscar De La Hoya told me, you know what, you can keep the bonus, but we're not interested anymore. I said, F***. It was big disappointment for me, and I fought for 2000. I remember it was one FC and Elite FC. It was a couple shows, one in Philippines and one in Hawaii. I fought, I believe, for 15,000. But before I left UFC, if you, for example, if you remember, like UFC fighters, they were like car race drivers, all logos, small logos. Like it's like the biggest payment you can get if you get some big logo on your ass, on your fighting shorts. And if somebody gonna propose me like 10,000 for small logos, I tell you, are you kidding me? Of course not. And from over there, I start like fighting again for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. And since God, in 2013, I get back in UFC. Dana White tweeted, Andrei Arlovski, welcome back to UFC. I still have in my phone that screenshot. And since 2013, I keep and still fighting in the UFC.
You know, we've talked here about different setbacks or you know, how to overcome those shitty times. And, you know, a story that I mentioned yesterday that I made an awful lot of money in 2020, 2021. And then, you know, there's a time I lost about $11 million. I made that money back now, and I'll go find some more money. But, you know, 2022 was not a fun year for you. You've been with me. We're training, and I show you, oh, I'm down 1.7 million today. And maybe that's a useful comment. Does that change my mood an awful lot, or do I get depressed about these things?
No, I think I was worried more about your money than you. So I was, come on, I just like, I mean, I tried to like somehow like support Derek, but he looks like he doesn't give a about it. I said, okay. But it was painful, I think.
It was okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of those, you know, some of those things are useful to them, that they have setbacks here and there, or they feel like progress is not coming quick enough sometimes. And when you had some of those darker moments in your career, you know, there's times, recently Andrei had, you know, 4-fight winning streak. There's times in the past you won many fights in a row. When things don't go your way for a little while, like you said at the one time you had, you know, I think 4 losses in a row.
Yeah.
How do you have to think about that to turn that around in your head and be like, you know, no, we're not going to stop here. I'm going to come make this work.
When you lost one fight, it's okay for some people. 2, 3, 4. I was so disappointed, and I was more disappointed at some of my coaches, because they said, but now I understand at that time they worried about my health. When you lost 4 fights, and I believe 2 it was by KO, they start telling me, okay, Arlovski, you have to finish with your fighting career, you have to do something else. And for me it was so disappointed. I was so disappointed because back in 2009, every trip I brought with me at least like 15, 20 people. And everybody had a great time, even better time when I won the fight. Everybody like celebrate, drinking, etc., etc., etc. If I lost the fight, I was only one depressed. Everybody still like have a good time. I said, I have to change something. And By the way, for losses and my phone stopped ringing. I asked my manager and friend at the time, what the fuck, how come it's possible? Because every time I had to choose with whom I'm going out, with whom I'm going to have dinner, and for one day it's like zero. Just 4 people from Chicago, couple of them, it was police officers, my manager and another friend, and that's it. I was depressed, I was drinking a lot, and I decided I need to change something, and thanks God, I got some power inside. I find out some reason why I need to climb back on the top, and thanks God, I had enough power and some wishes inside to do what I'm doing. And I told you in your interview before, discipline is remembering what you want, and every time, especially every day when I wake up right now in the camp, I know why I'm doing this, for who I'm doing this, and I became a more responsible person, and I have I changed my environment. Like I try to be around people who like you can teach me with something, and for me it's very important. And I still have few friends from past days, and now I just more happy and more disciplined person than I was before.
That's always funny to me where people have, I've had some of those moments in life where everybody wants your attention, everybody wants to talk to you, and then, some other moments where you find out who your friends are, You find out who are the people that want to be with you during good times, bad times, doesn't matter. And, when I mess things up, I talk about it very publicly when I make a mistake about something, because I don't want them to make the same mistake. And I also want them to have permission to understand, shit's not perfect, things are not perfect in my life. Any of my friends that are very successful at anything, whether sports or business, they all have problems. They all have, they have all the difficulties that other humans do too. And despite that, it's not like a champion athlete or a higher level business person. It's not everything is beautiful and perfect. There are plenty of problems, plenty of setbacks. And despite that, you have to overcome those problems and be the best at what you do. And that's what somebody like Andrei or the other great champions, that's what it's like. It's not beautiful, it's not perfect, it's not everything is easy. And if you're expecting that in your own life, and then that you have those moments where you tell yourself a poor me story of oh, poor me, if I didn't have this or that problem, then I could have those type of results too. Some of those guys that win a championship belt, or other people that you look up to around the world for whatever reason, they have more problems than you do. And you solve the problem, you deal with it, and that's what it takes. If you're avoiding your problems, or if you like your excuses more than your goals, you're not going to accomplish your goals so much. You're going to have very low level outcomes. So don't expect things to be that way. And in many sports careers, by the time someone's brain is extremely developed, they're always learning. You learn from your wins, you learn from failures, you learn from a lot of things, outside of the arena. And, you're going to have some accumulated injuries. Something's going to be sore, something's going to be injured. Your body is starting to give you some problems before your brain is optimized, So imagine if you know the things, and this guy's in amazing shape. We just did leg day today, and this guy's in amazing shape. But imagine if you had your brain, the things that you know about fighting, and you were 20 years old again. So you'd be, so that's life. So everybody has excuses or difficulties, and you have to love your excuses more. You have to love your goals more than you love your excuses. You have to love your goals more than you love your excuses. You can't love both. And the way Andrei would say is, remember what you want most, and you have to respect what you want most more than what you want right now. I think that's how you've said that in the past. Maybe slightly different words.
But it sounds better, like you said.
So, like Andrei always says.
What?
No, I'm just going to repeat what I just said, but attribute it to you again. So, like Andrei always says, discipline is remembering what you want most, and not being distracted with what you want now.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.